Hello everybody and welcome to episode 8 of our TileMap tutorial series. Today we're going to go deeper into the noise, and we left off here generating land and water, and we're going to take it further and generate some more tiles and terrains. I just wanted to show something. Before we get started, make sure you reset everything that you did, make sure it's simplex smooth, and that it doesn't say that there's any changes. In resource, it's okay. So one thing I wanted to show is the ranges. So in simplex smooth, you could see that the range is from -0.6 to +0.6. And then when I put it to simplex, the ranges change, and now it's from -0.8 to 0.86. And so basically when you use different noise types, you need to put in the ranges for the different noise values. So for cellular, it's -0.8 to -0.1 and so on. So for a simplex smooth noise, it goes from -0.6 to +0.69. So actually, I'm going to change this -0.6 to +0.69. And when it gets from -0.6 to 0, it's water, and then we have sand. And we're going to basically be putting grass here and cliffs. But firstly, let's use sand and let's use terrains instead of these tiles. The water can be tiles, but we want terrains. So let us set up an array for the sand tiles, and let's set an array for the grass tiles. Okay, and let's get the terrain sand integer, and the way we get it is here, and it's going to be for our sand and water. If you don't know how to do this, you have to go to earlier episodes where we did all this. This is grass and sand. We are going to use grass and sand, so that would be, so this one is 0 and this one is 1. So grass and sand is going to be 1. Sand and grass, we don't need that one. We want sand and water. So here it is. So 0, 1, 2, 3. 3. Cool. And yeah, so now we have a sand tile array and a grass tile array. Okay, and now we want to decide when we are going to place sand. So we are going to be placing the sand here in this loop. So I'm gonna put placing ground, just so we know. And actually we want to place water everywhere, so we're not going to do an elif. We are just going to place the water in every tile, and we're going to want to use the layers now. So the way our layers are going to work is we're going to have a water layer. We are going to have a ground 1 layer, ground 2 layer, and a cliff layer, and an environment layer. Okay? And the way Godot works is if you're walking on a specific layer and it should always be under you at all times, you should put the z index to -1. So the first 3 layers should all have a -1 z index. And we will just leave it at that. These 3 layers, -z, and that should be good. Alrighty, so let's put our layers here. It's always good practice to have your layers as variables. So we're going to put here var water layer. Okay, great. So we have our layers. Right here, layers. Organize it a little bit, and now it should be very easy to set up. Okay, so we're always putting down our water, and this is on layer 0, and we're going to change it to water layer. And it's always good practice to use variables for your layers, because when you're making a game, you sometimes change the layers up a lot, and it would be very difficult to fish through all your set cells and change the layers manually. So you should always start off using variables. Okay, and this is where we're gonna place sand, and sand is gonna go on that ground 1 layer. And we are actually not gonna set it like this. We're gonna use our terrains, and the way we use our terrains is we put it inside. We're gonna append the position inside the sand tiles array. So let's append vector 2 and then our x and y. And since it's a tile, we actually want vector 2i. Cool, now that we've appended it, let's just test out the sand. And after this runs, we don't need this anymore. After all of the for loop is over, so let's look at it here. It's much easier to see. So after the for loop is over, we want to come here and do TileMap, set cells terrain connect layer. It's that ground 1 layer. Cells, it's our sand tiles array. Terrain set, we have this terrain sand int. Might be better to name it sand terrain set, whatever. And it's the first one, and we don't need anything else. But yeah, we always separate those terrains, and it's the 0 index. Okay, let's see if it works. You could also reduce the size if you don't want to wait for it to load too long, and I'm probably going to do that. And it looks really a lot better now. Alrighty, so now that we have the sand layer, I'm reducing the width and the height so that it doesn't take forever to load when we're testing out. We are going to put the grass layer. So we need to think here and determine where's the best position to put the grass. So this is based on preference, but I am going to put the grass layer around 0.2. So here, I want everything above 0.2 to be grass. So let's put it in here. Whenever the noise value is greater than 0, we're always going to want to put sand. But if the noise value is greater than or equal to, or actually we don't need equal to, 0.2, we are going to get that grass tiles array, and we are going to append the vector 2i, x, and y. And then we're going to do the same thing here, but we're going to use the grass tiles array, and we're going to use the terrain grass integer, and then everything else could be the same. And let's test it out. So you see, now the grass is looking really good. So if your grass is looking weird, like there's separations with the sand and the grass, that is because you put them in the same terrain sets. So we want to separate our terrain sets with the grass and the sand. So yeah, pay attention to that. Alrighty, nice. So we have our grass. Now let's add some cliffs. So we come back here, and actually I would like my cliffs to be above 0.6. So around here. And then you could see it, our picture is looking a lot like what we created in the beginning. So I will do here, if the noise value is above 0.6, let me see if we created that cliff array. We did not. So I'll just copy this, and I'll do cliff and cliff, terrain cliff int. Let's see which one it is. I think it's the last one. It is. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll put 4 here. Whoops, wrong one. 4 here. And we will append the vector to I and the x and the y. It's going to be on the cliffs layer, cliff layer, cliff terrain, and terrain cliff int. Let's check it out. There are no cliffs. Let me lower the number. Okay, I just had to lower the number. In order to make this accurate, we need to put it a little bit like that. Great. So when I'm testing out noise, what I like to do is to be able to zoom in and out to get the values I like. So we're gonna get access to this camera. So we're gonna go here to the project settings, and I'm gonna put a new action, zoom in and zoom out. And it's gonna be the mouse, middle mouse button, middle wheel up for zoom in. You could do it inverse if you want. And mouse wheel down for zoom out. And I'm gonna go into the input, and we're gonna say if input is action just pressed, zoom in, and we're gonna do another one for zoom out. And when we zoom in, we're gonna get a zoom value, and it's gonna be equal to our camera 2D zoom. And we are going to add plus, we're gonna add -1, and then we're gonna go to our camera 2D into the zoom property. If you look into it, you'll see that it takes a vector 2. So we're gonna say vector 2, and we're gonna put that zoom value twice. And we'll do the same thing here, but we'll be adding. We need to do actually just the X here. So if you go out too much, it becomes negative, and then your world will flip upside down. So yeah, just be aware of that. But this is just quickly for prototyping. And if we zoom in, you'll see that the grass is all the same, and that is really boring. So there's no, unfortunately, scatter property. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get all the grass atlas tiles. So it starts from atlas coordinate 1, 0, then it goes 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0. So we're gonna make an array of that. Let's do that. We'll do it here. Var grass atlas array. And it starts at vector 2i, and it goes to 1, 0. And then we're gonna do 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we're gonna get that grass array. So what we're gonna do is when we are setting the grass, we're actually, when it goes up, if the noise value is greater than 0.25, we don't want to do it on the edges of the grass because that will ruin the terrains. So when it's above this number, we are going to do TileMap, set cell, layer. This is where we're going to use the ground 2 layer. Ground 2 layer, vector 2i, x, y, source ID, and the atlas coordinates. So we're going to get that grass atlas array, and we are going to pick a random one. Okay, and remember, we're not doing it on all the same tiles. We're doing it a little bit further. So if we were to draw that, it would be, you know, somewhere around here. We're putting the random grass. We want the edges to be normal terrain so that we don't ruin it. And let's check it out. And if we zoom in, we'll see that it is looking really nice. Okay guys, time to add some trees. Alrighty, so for the trees, we're actually gonna need a new noise texture, because remember, this was for the height, so it's for the water, sand, grass, cliffs. We need a new one for the trees, because we're gonna have different values. So we're gonna do a noise tree texture, and then we're going to do var tree noise, and it's going to be of type noise. Okay, perfect. And now when we come here, we'll have a new texture. So I've been fiddling around with the tree noise, and we're going to add a new fast noise light, and the values I found work is when I have the frequency at around 0.35. So you'll see it's like much zoomed out. And when we come here to fractal, we turn the octaves down by 1. And if you look at the noise, you'll see that it's becoming more clear when you do that. I don't know the proper terminology, but you could definitely look it up. The number of noise layers that are sampled to get the final value. There's a lot of mathematical stuff that goes into it. You can look deeper into it, but I like to change the values and visually see how it's changing it. So now we have this new tree texture, tree noise, and we also need a variable. So yeah, we need to get that tree noise. So here we're gonna do tree noise. I spelled it wrong, it's okay. Noise tree texture, and we're gonna get the noise from that. Let me just spell it correctly. There we go. And now we want to do the same thing here. This is going to be tree noise value, and we're using the tree noise. And let's just, for now, let's use this tree noise, so we don't need to do it again. And let's see the min and max using our tree noise. Okay, so it's now the range is from -0.9 to +0.9. So we come here, our new graph is from -0.9 to +0.9. Alrighty, so let's place some palm trees. So let's go to our tile map, and we have some new palm trees. So it's going to be atlas coordinates 12.2 and atlas coordinates 15.2. So let's get the var palm tree atlas array equals, I'll just take this. So this is 12.2 and 15.2. Let me just double check. 12.2 and 15.2, perfect. And so we want to place it in between the sand. So this is the ground. So in here, there should be sand. And also not here. So we're gonna say if, I also don't want to place it right on the edge of the sound, so I'm gonna say if our noise value is greater than 0.1, or actually 0.05, and our noise value array, oh, not noise value, it's just noise value. Okay, so our noise value is less than 0.17. We'll see what that looks like. We want to place the sand, but we also want to check that tree noise value. So, and I don't know if this will be a good one. We'll see. So we'll say if our tree noise value is greater than 0.8. We'll see if that's a good value. We'll mess with it. So if that's the case, we'll do TileMap, set cell, layer. This is the environment layer. The coordinates here, source ID, and the atlas coordinates, it's that palm tree array, and we're going to do pick random, and let's see how that looks. So that's looking pretty good. So basically what we did, we were placing palm trees in this subset, and then we are also doing it if it's above that, 0.8. That's where we are placing our palm trees. Alrighty, so now we need to place some oak trees. I have the atlas coordinate here. It's 15.6. You could check here where it is. And what we're going to do is we are going to place it when it's above 2.5. We have it here. Above 2.5 and lower than 0.35. So here, once it's above 2.5, we're going to say if the noise value is less than 0.35 and the tree, this tree noise value is less than 0.8, we're going to do TileMap, set cell, layer. This is going to be on the environment layer. We'll get that. Vector 2i(xy), source ID, and then we will do the oak tree atlas. And let's run the game and see how that looks. So it's looking pretty good. So remember, if you want more trees, all you got to do is lower this number. And essentially what that's doing is that's just increasing the range that the trees will spawn. So if I put 0.7 and we check it out, there are more trees. That was with the palm trees. I'm going to increase this to 400 by 400. So there you have it, guys. Really easy worlds generated that really don't take a long time to put together. I am actually missing one thing, and that's the Y sort. So let's get the Y sort working. We're going to want to come into the root node, go to ordering, and we'll put Y sort enabled. Go to your tile map, go down to ordering, put Y sort enabled, and then we want to go to our layers, and we'll go to the cliffs, Y sort enabled, environment, Y sort enabled. The way you get the Y sorts to look good, we're going to go into our tile map, click select, click the tree, click rendering, and firstly, we want this texture image to be down at the base. And then we want the Y sort to be at the bottom of the tree. Because remember, if our character's anchor is lower, then it'll be in front. If our character's anchor is above, it'll be under. And when we look at our character, you'll see our anchor should also be at the feet. So we want to also make sure that it is like that for the palm trees. I already did it for the palm tree. I didn't do for that one. So let's move the texture to be here. And that should be good. Now we have to move this one. And anyways, for our cliffs, I am going to put the physics layer. So now the Y sort should be a lot better for that. And you can't walk on the cliffs. Perfect. Alrighty, guys, and that concludes episode 8. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned. Have a great day, and I'll see you next episode. Just wanted to give a big thank you to all the Patreons. If you want to support the channel, consider checking it out to gain access to demos, source code, and behind the scenes. Thank you so much for all the support.